Hello everyone and welcome. So when we talk about luxury, it's hard not to mention about Lincolns, and packed in this small SUV package is the same level of luxury, comfort, but it's now offered in a hybrid version, which is this Lincoln Corsair. So this new Lincoln Corsair is also based on Ford Escape. So they share the same platform, which is the global C2 platform, and it's offered in three different trims: Premier, Reserve and the Grand Touring. And the Grand Touring is offered with the hybrid option, whereas the other models, the Premier and the Reserve, they are offered with 2-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine, whereas this comes with 2 electric motors and a 2.5-liter 4-cylinder non-turbocharged engine. So let's begin from the front, and there are some optional extras also on this, which I'm going to come across and let you know too. So the first one is the jet black pack that's offered on this, which is why there is this glossy black grille, big one here with the chrome Lincoln badging, not the glowing one. I wish it was there, like something in the Nautilus. So you can click on the pop-up banner out here and can watch the detailed review video of that Lincoln Nautilus. Two more vents at the bottom and some black, glossy black stripes, and then this split headlight cluster. So the bottom bit are the turn signals, whereas the DRLs are sitting on the bottom side of the main headlight cluster. They are also in LED, and the main headlight cluster sits inside there, those two lights that you see. And this is a dynamic headlight cluster, so it also moves around with the steering input. And there are also the cornering lights that are placed on the inside out here, so they also help with the cornering also. And as I mentioned, underneath sits a 2.5-liter 4-cylinder engine along with 2 electric motors. There is also a camera for the active and the passive safety systems, as well as the adaptive cruise control. And then we move on to the sides. So on the sides, again, black color jet black pack is provided. So you get these black aluminum wheels, which are the 20-inch ones, and there are adaptive suspensions on this Grand Touring variant. More black color stripes at the bottom, so very elegant looking side profile also, and the front ones too, very simplified but very roundish and smooth. And because it's a hybrid version, there is a charging port here. So in terms of the charging capacity and the battery, so this Corsair hybrid gets a 14.4 kilowatt hour battery pack, and it's only charged using a type 2 AC charger. So if you plug into 110 volt outlet, then it takes about 10 to 11 hours, or if you put it to 240 volts, then it takes 3 to 4 hours. But nonetheless, good to have a hybrid option. Then there is this Corsair badging out here. And then we come to these side mirrors. These are glossy black side mirrors. They are power foldable, power adjustable. They also have the blind spot warning on the inside and a turn signal, and one of the cameras from the 360-degree camera system. And again, dual tone option, black pillars on the roof. There's blacked out because it's also got the panoramic sunroof, black color roof rails, black pillars. When we come to these doors, so the doors are the keyless entry doors, not just the front ones but also the rear ones too. And in the rear also 20-inch wheels, and look at the side profile, like again that's also very smooth and round and sloping downwards in the back, with this small bit of spoiler extending into the back also, along with a brake light on the top side too. And then we move across into the back side, and then we have this nice smooth rear end with the sleek design in the back too. The tail lights, they extend from one end to the other. They are also rounded, and this chrome strip and the turn lights that are situated between them, and the curving lights also. And this is a full LED tail light cluster also, reverse lights, brake lights, everything. There are these lights at the bottom side too, and at the bottom sits glossy black plastic with dual exhaust tips in chrome, and there is also this Lincoln badging in chrome too. In terms of the visibility, it's decent, not too bad, although if there are passengers in the rear seats, then the visibility can be slightly affected. In order to open the trunk, there is a button provided, or you can swipe your legs because there is the smart tailgate access provided too. Now, first thing to mention is the opening, because it's very low, so it's going to be very easy to load your luggage in and out from this trunk. And there are also scuff plates provided in the back, and then as I mentioned, there is this home charger that's been provided with two different extensions, so you can use either of them, and the same type 2 pin provided here, 12-volt power socket, trunk light, and these buttons to fold down the rear seat. And when the rear seats are folded up, you can put 941 liters of luggage, which is pretty good for a small luxurious SUV. So you can stuff in a lot of stuff. And the thing is, as I mentioned, because it sits so low down, the opening, so it's going to be very easy to handle your luggage from this. There's also a spare wheel that's been provided along with the tool kit. Now, in order to fold down the rear seats, which are foldable in a ratio of 60:40, so the buttons are provided here for right and left, but it only folds down the seats but does not fold them up. Let me demonstrate you the foldable option. So you press the right seat, folds down, and then the left one, and we fold them down. So when the rear seats are folded down, you can put 1593 liters of luggage, which again, if you convert it, it's like 21 bags easily that it can fit. And it's also pretty even, like it's nearly flat, slight bit of slope, but I wouldn't complain about that. And then in order to close the trunk, press this button. Now let's head into the inside, because it's all about that. So let's begin with the door cards. So you get soft touch materials on the door cards, and on the sides this beige color leather, and then the switches around that, it's glossy plastic. The switches also have good quality material. These buttons and switches to change the position of the seats, chrome there. This Revell speaker grill, and then at the bottom that is just like normal plastic. Lincoln badging on the door sills, and on the inside, when you get in, you are greeted to this luxurious interior experience. So let's jump in and switch on the car. And now once you start, you are greeted to this nice music once you get in. So let me push my seats back, and let's begin with the material quality on the inside. So on the dashboard, there's soft touch material. I wish it was a little more softer, but nonetheless it's pretty all right. And then the beige material out here on the side face of the dashboard, and then this real wood inserts in between, and even on the driver side too. Then out here there is this nice bit of plastic provided, and then chrome surrounds everywhere, and then this door to open the charging storage, and you can use it for anything, storage also, as well as charging the phones also. This Lincoln badging behind the chrome strip, and then that chrome strip continues, and then this gear shifter buttons, so they are provided here, no stick shift or dial or anything as such. These vents, again, they also have chrome strips on them. So overall the material quality seems to be like a good mix of decent materials. And then even on the steering wheel there is leather covered with two-tone black and beige color leather, Lincoln badging, and there are just couple of places where I found the plastic to be squeaky. First one is here, so hear it. You hear that? So it's for the voice assistance. And here, yeah, this screen also makes some noise, and then this grill that goes inside. But yeah, these are 2-3 places where I've found some materials that need to be improved. But overall, yes, it does deliver the luxurious experience. Now let's begin with the driver's display. So this is a 12.3-inch digital driver's display, and it's got this curve. If you look at it, inside. It's not like a rectangular one, but it's got this curve. Plus there are these sensors that block the visibility slightly of the driver's display. And not just that, the driver's display is like a fixed sort of setup. There's no theme or anything that you can change, so there's lots of information going on instead of like a planar background. And yes, you can have calm screens all around and then have that change, but essentially this is the same layout that you can expect to see all the time. Now there are also buttons provided on the steering wheel on either side, and the right side buttons are the ones to change the information. And here's an interesting bit. So whatever options you click, and then the buttons also change. So then comes the home button, and then you press that. So this is not a pressing joystick, but instead you have to maneuver it using this joystick. And then the setting options, again, go back or okay or everything, and then this button also out here at the bottom. So in order to change the information on the driver's display, so let's first see this information on the left, on the right side. So trip 1 information, then you press this button and then change it to tire pressure, seat belts, EV coach, calm screen. Calm screen is what will keep it like in no information out there. Trip fuel economy, we are back into that. And then you can change the navigation, which again shows up the options on the screen itself, and then you can scroll down for navigation, go back, or the detailed settings for heads up on and off, heads up menu, display setup, brake coach, neutral tow, oil life, and we are back. And then this side shows the cruise control information, which is always visible all the time. So yeah, these are sort of fixed dial options that you see all the time. When we come to this steering wheel, so this is a leather covered steering wheel, dual tone, Lincoln badging here, buttons provided on either side, as well as buttons provided out here too. And these buttons are activated when you switch on the cruise control. The buttons on the right side, they are used to change all the information on the driver's display as well as media control, and the cruise control buttons at the bottom. On the left side, there are buttons provided for the cruise control, which is the adaptive cruise control, so it gets the same Ford's Blue cruise control, and the buttons at the bottom to set the speed and everything from here, whereas the distance is from this side. And this voice assistant button that is put out here. It's an interesting position to put this button. I like it, yeah, because it's quite handy to be used all the time, which is if you use the voice assistants all the time. And there's also a heads up display out there. It shows you so much of information like your range, the gears you are in, speed, temperature, time, cruise control information. All that can be changed from here. You go into the settings, into the heads up menu, on and off, and into head up menu option, brightness, position, and the content that you see in there come out. And once you are set, you can come out from there. Now when we come to the air conditioning, so the air conditioning controls are situated on this 13.2 inch infotainment screen. They sit at the bottom, and you get dual zone air conditioning system on this Lincoln Corsair Grand Touring. And I don't think I've mentioned what model am I reviewing. I am reviewing the Grand Touring with hybrid variant. And in order to switch on the air conditioning, it's pretty simple. You either go from here or from the fan speed and then set the temperature. You can even slide them here, and as you can see, there's a bit of graphics going on. And then on the other side also, you can change the temperature, and then the fan speed, you can change that, switch it off. There's no dedicated off button, so you have to slide it down from here, which can be a bit distracting when you're driving. And then the heated steering wheel option, auto, and then the flow of air, where you want the flow of air to be, all of that. Auto refresh, recirculation of air, switch it off, heat and everything. Then we go back, and the AC, the rear and the front defogger. And then on either side there are the on-screen buttons provided for the heated seats. Again, heated and the cooled seats both are provided, so you can change them too from here. The settings, very easy to control that ways. And then we come out. So that's how you use the air conditioning system. Now when we come to this infotainment screen, this is a 13.2 inch infotainment system, and in terms of its operation, it's a bit loaded with a lot of options, which is why it's slowing it down, or it just needs to improve in terms of its capacity. So these are your main widgets on the screen. So the first one is for the navigation. You go inside, and then inbuilt navigation system that's been provided, and also there's a split screen option on the other side to scroll through some different options in there, and the main menu options for the navigation that's out here. And then you press this Lincoln logo and then come out into the home screen, then the audio option and the connect phone option. So in terms of the connectivity, you can connect this infotainment screen using Bluetooth, USB, and there is wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, and there is also Sirius XM trial package for 3 months. And the next option is the detailed settings, where there is phone list, sync navigation, sound. So there are 14 speaker Revel surround sound system. It actually sounds pretty incredible on this one. Then the vehicle settings, all the different settings, power, tailgate, lock, mirrors, door, keypad code. So door keypad code is here on the side, where once I close, you'll be able to see this keypad that you can customize. And then we go back and continue into the other options, which is the clock, personal profiles, general settings. You can change temperature, measurements, tire pressure, all of that from here. Then the display options that can be changed, calm screen if you want, you can have that too. And then the next option is the driver seat. So the driver and the passenger side seats have so many different options to change, so all that can be changed from here, as well as massage seat options also for the driver and the passenger too. So you can change every single thing. So as you can see, it shows you the different areas that you can control, and there's plus and minus to set the intensities. So goes for the massage, but once you go into the seats, I'm going to show you that too. Then same for the passenger seat, connectivity, vehicle hotspot, software, Lincoln, personal assistant, and ambient lights. So there are ambient lights provided in this door card, near the door handles, at the bottom, in the footwell, out here near the cup holders, out here, everywhere. And here's an interesting thing. So whatever color you select, it pops up like to show you like you've selected this color. It's actually pretty handy, like, you know, to see like what color you've selected. So it's always there like a balloon that pops up. And the next option is 911 assist valet mode to lock some of the features on the car. Then the next option is the dedicated feature option for driver assistance, access, departure, charge settings, power flow, owner's manual. Then the apps for the connectivity, which is Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and Find Mobile apps. So that's basically how you use this infotainment screen. Now when we come to the gear shifter, so there are these buttons provided, and there is this start button that is tucked away underneath these air conditioning controls, which is a bit of a find at first when I was trying to start the car, because yeah, it's tucked away. And so are these buttons, because when I am trying to operate that, it's not at an arm's reach, so I have to always stretch out my arms and then change, and then put my hand back on this armrest, which is again beige color leather covered. And in order to operate, because it's by wire, so reverse, neutral, drive, and parking. And there are more buttons provided at the bottom too, and this is like a single panel, but the buttons individually are in the back side. This volume dial with a chrome surround, and these buttons are for the parking assist, the 360-degree cameras, the parking lights. Then this button to put the screen into the calm screen, and then this turbocharger sort of option, which is for the traction control. So you press that and it switches off the traction control. Now when we come to the charging, so there are two USB ports, one type C and one normal, and a wireless charger provided in the front, and there are 4 type C USB ports that are provided for the rear passengers. Now on this Corsair, there is also this extendable sun visor, and there is a panoramic sunroof. Love this, because the car it's a small SUV, and when you open it, it's actually pretty big. It goes almost into the trunk, like it's that big on the inside when you look at it. Now when you come to the storage, so in the door cards you can put about 1 liter worth of water. That is also going to be some bit of a squeeze, and there is this storage out here for chargers, and you can even cover that too because it's got a door, and there are these two flexible cup holders and this glove box. On the passenger side, same capacity. Then there is this sunglass holder and this armrest. Again, that is also decent to put your phones and wallet. It's also got this floating extra storage on the top side too, and there's also this dial for the drive mode. So there are like 5 different driving modes provided on this, and there is a lot of animation again that's been going on, so it takes a little while to switch to that. So you get sometimes confused, like you've switched on or not. So the first option is the slippery, then the conserve, which is your eco mode, then the excite, which is the sport mode, normal, and then preserve EV, which will save the battery for later, or the pure EV options. More on these modes once we go on the drive, and it's pretty simple. Just twist this dial and switch into different driving modes. Now when we come to the seats, so these seats are the beige color leather seats. Now at first when you look at these seats, let me close the cover for the sunroof because it's sort of making things extra bright on the inside. So now you'll be able to see these seats properly. So these seats are the beige color seats, and at first when you look at it, they may seem like a slimmer seats, but when you sit inside them, they are super comfortable. They are very comfortable for long-term journeys. Also, they are perforated seats because they are the heated and the cooled seats, and in order to adjust the seats, there are buttons that are provided out here on the door cards itself, and these headrests that also can be controlled in terms of the angle and also the height also. And the seats offer plenty of support overall because they got good side support as well as the bottom support also. And not just that, because I need to come out and show you, they have the extension also that are like these suspension types, like so these can be adjusted from here through these buttons. So let me press the button and you can select them one by one, which is a bit of a surprise because you have to like use one by one, or you just want for one leg, you can do that too. So I mean, I'll just go for both, but again they are also super soft and squishy also. And in terms of the adjustability, so both the driver and the passenger side seat are 24-way electronically adjustable, as well as there is a massage seat option. And in order to switch that on, you press this button and it takes you on screen, and then there is options for lower, upper, circular, full recovery, or relax, and then there is the intensity also to select for that. But one thing is that I haven't found a button to switch off this massage seat. I press the same button again, but it's still continuing to give you the same massage option. And I've switched off the car after that and then switched it on in order to be able to switch off the massage system provided on this. And as I said, it's for the driver and the passenger side, both sides, and it can be controlled from this screen. Now let's head into the rear seats, and let me put them up first. So the rear seats are again the mixture of same beige color leather seats. They are perforated seats, and there are 3 headrests also in the back, and these seats again offer the same level of comfort on the inside, but the thing is they are situated slightly on the lower side, and as a result my legs tend to miss a little bit of support underneath my thigh, and there is not much space also to slide my legs under the seat, but there's plenty of space for the knees, so almost about 3 to 4 fingers worth of knee room, and the seats also have extra bit of curve to provide more space. And the headroom, again, that also is pretty good for a small SUV, because someone about 6 feet 2 inches may start brushing their heads against the ceiling. This panoramic cutout gives extra bit of head space also in the rear, but nonetheless these seats are pretty comfortable for longer journeys for sure. And they are perforated, but they are only the heated seats, not the cool seats, and the buttons are out here, and the air conditioning vents, as well as the USB ports, 4 of them that are provided in the back. And there is also a middle seat that's been provided too, and there is a small bit of step in the back, but not too much to hinder the middle passenger. And once I sit in the middle, so the bottom bit is soft, and as usual the back end is a bit hard. That is to do with the fact that there is a handrest and there are 2 normal cup holders provided. It's got a bit of a slope also, so it's not exactly like horizontal, so yeah, there's like that too, and it's also not like even, so there is like a slimmer back end. And the rear seats have also one more cool feature, which is they can be slided forward or backwards, as well as they can be reclined also, and the lever is provided on the side out here, and you can adjust the reclining angle on these seats. So again, that gives more flexibility to adjust the seats in the rear. In terms of the door card quality, so soft touch material on the top side, chrome bits here, the well grill out here where you're going to be resting hands, that's beige color leather covered with a glossy plastic. At the bottom there's just like normal plastic, and again door card capacity, you can put like 1 liter worth of bottle. There are also pocket storage in the driver and the passenger side seats in the back side. So overall the space in the rear for a small SUV, especially the luxurious small SUV, is pretty decent, I would say. I wouldn't complain about this because it's got loads of adjustability, so you can slide it forward, backwards, and also do the reclining and change the angle also. And there are also air conditioning vents, so it's again a proper recipe for comfortable journey. So this 2025 Lincoln Corsair Grand Touring Hybrid is powered by a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder naturally aspirated engine and 2 electric motors, one in the front and one in the rear. And this whole engine and the electric motors, they are mated to transmission that sends the power to all the 4 wheels via an all-wheel drive system. And the non-hybrid versions, they come with the 2 liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. Let's begin first by understanding how the power is distributed from the motors and the engine, because I found that most of the times when it's going under 30 kilometers, it's always powering through the motors. And even though if you change the modes from preserving the EV energy, it still uses that, as you can hear right now. So it's only when you accelerate beyond 30, it switches to the engine. And when I picked this car up, when you drive it in normal mode, it first tends to just use up all the electrical energy and then switch on the engine, because from the fully charged batteries of 14.4 kilowatt hour that you get, you will get a range of 45 kilometers. So it will use that first and then put on the engine. So even if you're going fast, it will still use the EV mode. Then there is a pure EV mode also, but in the Preserve I've still found that it mixes the motors and the engine together to give you the overall power delivery. But at lower RPMs, it's still going to be using the electric motors only all the time. And even when you go below 30, again it switches to that. So yeah, there has to be some sort of management in terms of how it utilizes the energy. Although I've done about 125 kilometers now, and still it's done 84.2 kilometers on electric power. So it can self-power itself also, because there's regenerative braking also. All of that is going underneath, but there is no gauge or anything to show you that there is regeneration happening or anything, just that the numbers tell you that it's utilizing the electrical power. Now the whole system, as I said, is mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission, so that 8-speed auto is pretty smooth, and there are paddle shifters also, plastic ones given in the back, but yeah, you don't need that. Let the car figure out everything by itself, because it's got smooth gear changes, and the upshifts, downshifts all are pretty crisp that way. Now in terms of the fuel efficiency, so what I've been doing since driving for 125 kilometers is I've been driving a mix fashion. So there's engine and motor, so combined it's giving me 5.7 liters per 100 kilometers, which should be around 4.7 to 4.8 claimed, which you combine electrical and engine. And pure electrical, if you see from their claim figures, is 27.2 kilowatt hour per 100 kilometers. But yes, if it's only on just the engine power, then it would return you between 7.1 to 7.2 liters per 100 kilometers. Although when I'm driving on highways, I've managed to get between 4.3 to 4.5 liters per 100 kilometers. So there's a lot of mix and match going on, but in total you can get somewhere between 550 to 600 kilometers of range from this small SUV, which is pretty good for daily use. And it's got 42 liters of fuel tank capacity. And in terms of the towing capacity, now if you opt for the towing package, then it can tow up to 3,000 pounds. Now when we come to the suspension, so there are adaptive suspensions provided on this, and in terms of the performance, so they give you a good balanced ride. It's soft and supple, and it absorbs the bumps very well. But what I found is sometimes when the bumps are heavier or deeper, then it reaches its stop, and then the bumps straight right through the chassis and into your seat, and then it's yeah, as you can hear right now, it can be reaching its limits pretty soon. But nonetheless, in terms of the absorption, they are doing a very good job and offering a very balanced ride, as well as they've got good stability also, because the roll actually is not that much on this thing, so it remains pretty stable and planted. Now when we come to the steering, so there is an electronic steering provided on this, and in terms of its response, it is light, but it's got a very small turning radius, which is a good thing. So it's going to be very maneuverable and decent feedback. You change into different modes, it changes slightly in terms of the feedback, but overall yes, good for urban driving for sure. And in terms of the off-road capabilities, maybe because it's just got an electric motor, so it will do light bit of crawling, that's about it, but not like heavy sort of off-roading work. Now in terms of the all-wheel drive, yes, the power distribution is pretty good and spot on, and it reads the surface also quite well. In terms of the brakes, so there are 4-disc brakes on this, and the performance is pretty good. The brake pedal is progressive, and the brakes are also quite bitey and responsive also at the same time. Now in terms of the noise and the vibration, so there is not much noise. There is no tire noise or the windows, because they are double glazed, so that's why they are pretty quiet. There's no wind whooshing around them, and there is also the active noise cancellation, so even that's working its magic. So overall, yes, you don't even hear the engine most of the times, even if it's like being stressed out. So that's what you want from a luxurious SUV. And in terms of the vibrations and squeakiness, as I said, some of the bits here and there are squeaky. That's about it. And the steering is also electronically adjustable. I think I forgot to mention that. So it's tilt and telescopic both. And in terms of the safety system, so there are child isofix points provided in both the rear seats. There is also a 360-degree camera system. The output is pretty good, and you can select a lot of different angles and front view, rear view, and also select the 360 view or combine the views on both the sides when you're in a parking. So lots of options are also available, and there are 10 airbags, 2 for the front driver and the passenger, 2 side airbags again for the driver and the passenger. There are also 2 side airbags for the rear passengers also. There are 2 airbags, curtain airbags given in the pillars, and there is also knee airbags in the driver and the passenger side. And there's also ABS, EBD, tire pressure monitoring system, roll stability control, front and the rear collision warning, the pedestrian warnings, rear seat reminder. Then there is also the adaptive cruise control with the Ford's Blue Cruise 2.0, blind spot warning. So yeah, all the safety systems from the top variant which is expected, it's all provided on this too. Now in terms of the pricing, so the premier version, which is the base variant, starts from 52,295 Canadian dollars, and the reserve comes in at 59,295 or 56,295 Canadian dollars. I'm going to put the exact pricing on your screen. Whereas this top spec, because it's got a lot of optional extras, about $13,500 worth of optional extras, comes in at 78,365 Canadian dollars. Now, if you don't want to opt for the optional extras, that's fine, but go for the hybrid, which is available on this Grand Touring variant, because it's going to be efficient for daily uses and you're going to be cruising in proper luxury. And the looks of this car are pretty elegant, and it drives also pretty well for day-to-day use. And let's not forget, it's got a spacious trunk in the back and also some comfortable seats for the front passengers and also for the rear passengers also. So overall, it's going to be offering you good ride in terms of everyday use. And let's not forget, it looks elegant and it's a Lincoln at the end of the day. It's turning heads wherever I go, especially in this red color with the jetpack, which is about $3,500. You can choose to go for that or not. But I mean, if you don't, then yeah, it's all right. It's going to be chrome instead of black. But yes, the combination of red and black actually, elevates the styling on this car. Anyways, that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe to this channel and press the bell icon, leave all the notifications on. Also press the thumbs up button if you like this video. I shall see you in the next one. Bye bye, take care and drive safe.